All right, good morning, everybody. It's Cowboy. It is Wednesday. It is 8:30 a.m. EST on December the 6th. All right, so exciting time in crypto. We've had a lot of wins this week, and people in the Algo Factory chat have seen a trade that I just threw on this morning. Bitcoin doesn't show right now any signs of letting up, so we're going to go ahead and review that chart really quick. We're going to take a look at whether or not my algos are saying, hey, it's probably going to keep going or not. There's just a lot going on with crypto right now. So first, what I want to do is I'm going to flash this QR code up here. So if you're new to this channel, first of all, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all those YouTube-y type things as people do. And I think this is my first live stream over on Rumble. Let me even see if that's happening right now. Let's see here. Not sure how to tell if it is. I know Rumble's a little different. You actually have to set it up ahead of time. Can't just like live stream. So yeah, looks like we're let's see. No? Well, whatever. I'll figure it out later. But for now, what you see on the screen is that QR code. If you zap that, it'll take you to our website. You can find out more about us, who we are, what we do, and we'll get into that a little bit more towards the end of the show. But for now, there it is. You can just zap that, save it for later. I want to go ahead and jump straight into the content here. And I think the gorilla is going to join us. I'm not totally sure. I was just kind of chatting with him earlier on Telegram. So I think he's up and about, probably getting some bananas out of trees. I don't know. But the gorilla, I think he's inbound. You know, he didn't say he's not. All right. So if not here at 8:30, then probably by 9. Okay. So let's drop this QR code and then let's throw up. I want to leave this QR code up in the top left hand of the screen. Oh, V's here. Gorilla.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
Hello.
What's up, man? Hello.
And good morning, all of you. Good morning. Welcome to the Terror Dome that is algofactory.tech, where you learn not how to utilize pills and potions and lotions, but you learn how to make money. The most important tool. Give a man a fish he eats for a day. Teach a man to trade and build algorithms, and he eats for a lifetime. Anywhere in the world, 365. You can do it right here, algofactory.tech. Cowboy, let's get into it.
All right. Yeah, I already flashed QR code. I'll just throw it up one more time. So zap that if you want. Top left-hand side of the screen, it's already up there. So yeah. All right, cool. So I figured we'd talk more about Bitcoin. The algos right now, and for the past several weeks, I've been saying this like nearly every day. The algos on Bitcoin do not show any end in sight. Now, it doesn't mean that it's not going to get hammered down. In fact, there's a good chance it will at some point. But it's kind of one of those things where until it does, it doesn't. That's kind of where it is. But I do have some key levels that I do want to look at as far as when that might happen. And that's going to be based on liquidity and a few things. So I do want to jump, like I said earlier, straight into it. Let me share the screen. And let's just make sure whether or not there are some events happening today on the calendar for those of you who are already up and trading. Let's see here. Okay, so there was non-farm, and it's already passed 15 minutes ago. Oh, I wonder how that affected my Euro trade. Let's see. Oh, okay. All right, so that said, let's go back to BTC USD. Good. Well, we saw. Okay, so again, you're just looking at this. This what I drew earlier is I've been drawing this for weeks. Call it the stairway to heaven. And unlike other assets, seeing this happen with Bitcoin usually means it's going to move up. And I said that as this was forming, and I've been saying it for weeks. And surely enough, it popped up very hard. And that's, you just have to know your asset class. And crypto is unique. If I saw this in any other asset for the most part, I would think that, okay, I mean, this is an uptrend, but it actually was a hard move up and then a slowdown in momentum. And I would assume that there is a decent chance it would fall out of that, right? But Bitcoin's different. And because I have been trading Bitcoin for many years and seen this time and again, I mean, it only happens at this time frame, at this level. It only happens once every few years, but it's happened enough times So there you go. You have to move up. And if we were to treat this, how would we treat this? Let's just do it the high time frame way here. Yeah, we're near the top of this extension. I mean, we're at the top of this extension right now, and that's probably why it stopped. Now, it doesn't mean it won't continue up. It may very well. But let's take a look at the liquidity. And this is over at the kingfisher.io. I'm going to go ahead and throw a link to this in the description. Let me grab my referral code here. They don't pay me. What do you call it? Kingfisher does not give me, I'm not like a paid person for them or anything like that. I just think they have a great service. So, and you can, until you really start to get rolling, you can actually spin this wheel for free to see if you can get credits to actually look at liquidity maps. But they have services that go way beyond liquidity maps. I mean, they have, like, as you see on the left, that kind of colored square that has to do with volatility and options. You can trade directly from there, I believe. But at any rate, it's awesome. So we're going to look at Bitcoin now. I kind of avoided Binance for a minute. I would usually look on Binance. You can actually have a cross-exchange look, but that takes a lot of credits. But if you are a member, then it doesn't matter. They're unlimited. I can tell you right now, the liquidity is sitting between 37.5 and 39. So if we were to map that out,
that means the institutions are in. You see that
37.
You see that liquidity in there at like 37, 39. They're in there. We're going to 43, buddy. Where are we at right now?
We're at 44.
There we go. All right.
Yeah. No, it's
above 44. We're going to 48.
Well, we talked about this. This was something that we talked about on Algo Factory privately weeks ago. So anybody who's been with us in the private lab knew that this might happen. The thing is, what we told everybody was if it broke 38, then it would go to 42. And if it broke 42, then it would go to 44. And this is, look at the actual consolidations. They happen and that came from the gorilla. That actually came from the gorilla and not myself, which is, that should tell you Gorilla got this knowing how things work from the institutional side. So just so you understand, this is the team we have. I work the charts, I work the technicals, and V the Gorilla, for those of you who don't know, he actually does a lot of large institutional deals. V, I don't know if you want to speak on that for a second.
Yeah, I'm on the institutional side of things. So basically, a lot of family offices, hedge funds, trading desks. That's who we supply. The company that I'm a part of. So because I do that, I'm privy to a lot of what's happening behind the scenes. It's spooky scary as to how accurate things have been in terms of where I've predicted things and where we are, where we're going to go. And 2024 is that. You got look. I don't know how many times I got to tell you guys this, because I see what's coming down the pike, and the only option you have besides OnlyFans to make a lot of money, right? And you could probably make even more money because you might not be as pretty as an OnlyFans girl or something like that. I don't know. Maybe you are.
Like the golfer,
Like the golfer, right?
Good lord.
So, what you need to do is get on Algo Factory, because the market is going to be one of the last shoes to drop. It's going to be one of the last things remaining for you to take a profit, for you to earn income. So, don't listen to me and be like, "Listen, I don't know if I can afford this." This is $1.66 a day, man. You can find $1.66 a day. You can do it. Okay, it's never resources that end you. It's lack of resourcefulness. It's never resources that make you broke. It's lack of resourcefulness. That's what you got to be. You got to be resourceful. Join Algo Factory is going to make a heck of a difference in your life. I promise you that. Give me 6 months and see what we can do for you. Go ahead, Cowboy.
Yeah, definitely. It's we have taken people who no experience trading. They're already almost done going through 200 backtest on their algorithm, and they've never built an algorithm. This isn't something where you need to have a lot of experience. Just understand that I could take somebody who's never traded. All you pretty much need is like a high school math education. Gone through algebra, you can look at a chart, then you're good to go. So don't preclude yourself for any weird reason. I'm going to go ahead and put a link over in our Discord so people know that we're on. All right, cool. So at any rate, to look at this liquidity level that you're seeing here, this block between 37.5 and 38 and 39, I should say, what that means is that people went long right here and their positions are still on. They must be aiming at a higher number than where it is now, right? So they probably took trades that look something, and I know a lot of people are looking at 48. I'm guessing people took trades that look like this. I'm just, and their stop losses are all through this area, anywhere from here to here, and primarily sitting right at 38. Let's see if what that says. Yeah, 38.3. That's where the sweet spot is. 38.3. There it is. Also, people probably went long after this breakout, or somewhere in here, or they FOMO'd in or whatever, right? And so their stop losses are going to mostly be in this area, and their take profits are, they're probably just building a position, and they might think it's going to go to like, 60,000 or something. And long story short, though, if price goes down to this area, you start to see liquidations, and market makers only make money by tapping liquidity, right? And that's a whole conversation that it takes a bit to explain, but suffice it to say, when you're on a leveraged exchange, right, your trade just can't stay on forever because you're borrowing money. And because you borrowed money, let's just say you borrowed money at 5 times leverage. Let's just say you put down 20% and you borrowed the rest, which I think is actually 4 times leverage. But whatever the point is that you are making money five times as quickly, right? You're augmenting your position through borrowing, and you win 5 times as fast. But this is dangerous if you're not experienced, because you're losing money 5 times as fast. So, you can't just go all the way down to zero. Your position will not exist anymore. You have to keep adding money to make up for your down payment that is melting away. And so this is called margin. And when your margin runs out, there's something called a margin call, which you probably heard that in the popular space. And to make this really, really simple, these lines, this liquidity zone, that's where the margin calls are. All right. So that's where people's trades will disappear if price goes below that. So either they have to add money to margin, which a lot of exchanges, I think they do allow you to do that. Most of them. I've never seen one that doesn't, with the exception, not on this list of exchanges, right? BitGet, Bybit. I've traded on BitMEX. I've traded on Binance. I've traded on Bitfinex, and they allow that. So anyway, if price goes down to this area, then that will basically cause a cascade that may push price down. But we don't need to worry so much about what happens after that. We just want to pay attention to the fact that it could do that. But here's the thing about it. And because I trade algorithmically, I look and I let the charts tell me what's going on. And just looking, you see all the lines at the bottom there, all those, gobbledygook that might kind of confuse you or scare you. Don't let it do that. I read this because I've been doing this for a long time. But everything I'm seeing is just hyper bullish right now. I'm seeing, on the short term, it is taking a break, but that doesn't mean that it's going to go down. It just means that it might need to take a breather. So everything is pretty bullish right now. I don't see any reason for it to go down, but here's the way this works, okay? In an event like this could be what you call a sucker's rally, right? So, and I'll say it very simply, retail is going to start getting really interested. They are now. Retail's probably FOMOing, which is in part this move up. FOMO means fear of missing out. They're like, oh, price is going up without me, and they start buying. Well, if price continues up past certain points, you're going to see retail FOMO really kick in, because the boomers are not going to pay attention until it hits like above 50,000. There's some liquidations for the shorts, people who are betting against this move. There's liquidations but there's all the way up, but there's a cluster in the mid 50s and way up in 70,000. I can tell you now, if price went up to 70,000, that's when everybody's kicking in the money, right? Because I don't think price has ever gone above 70, right? It's 69's all-time high. So that's the real FOMO. But we'll see a lot of people jumping in if price makes its way to 50. But is that likely in this move? I can tell you it's possible. Anything is possible. Nothing is impossible. Typically, though, if you look at the there's something called the halving cycle. And I don't know if we have time to go into it, but basically the rewards from Bitcoin are cut in half every 4 years, which decreases the supply, which increases the demand just by laws of supply and demand. So if we look at some of these prior peaks, 48,000, 52,000, there are some resistances. And in particular, between here and there, we can see some resistances where price is likely to at least turn around and come down. Price is at one or just past one right now. But going to 48,000 is a very likely thing that we might see on this move. And then perhaps that's when we see the monkey hammer. But the way Bitcoin tends to work, and I'll draw this out, is basically it moves up hard, hangs out in an area, moves up hard, hangs out in an area. And if Bitcoin is ready to fall, if the metrics are such that it can, the monkey hammer happens usually after it hangs out in an area. You sometimes get this blow off top where it keeps going and it pushes through, because Bitcoin usually punishes people who want to go short. And then it breaks off really hard, and then it comes back and then hangs out and then makes its way down. That is a common thing with a lot of assets, and that may happen. But I was expecting a blow off top on the last main cycle, the last 4-year cycle. It never happened. So now I'm talking about more of a microcosm blow off, something happening not on the major cycle, but the lower time frame. Typically what goes on in this time is that, and we talk about this often, I don't want to belabor it, but usually around this time you see a Bitcoin take a break and it flattens out. And then of course, going into the halving, you're off to the races. I do think that we will see, there's a lot of institutional money, and has been longer than longer than we think. There's a lot of institutional money in Bitcoin, and they are not, as one of my contemporaries said, they're not going to pay their cap gain tax on something like this. It's going to be tax loss season imminent. And I think that also is going to take place in the equities market, and Bitcoin is not decoupled from equities. I think if you see like a lot of things might go ahead and slough off towards the end of the year. I think we're going to see the end of the Santa rally. I think we're going to see prices being pushed down for tax loss season. And if and when that happens, I think Bitcoin will take that break with it. So I expect something like this. Now, where might it go down to? Where might it go up to? A couple of tools we have. Okay. We've got, we have fib retracements from this move down on the higher time frame, which is just going to give us some basic ideas. The 618 is right here, right at 48, if you want to look at it that way. I mean, and it fits this move up. So there's a lot of confluence sitting around 48, right? So we can mark that out. We already have, and then we'll use a different tool here. And if you're fast enough, you can see what it is. But here it is. We're going to go ahead and look at the volume nodes, and price is going to be attracted to where these stick out. And you have a volume node sticking out right at 47.1 plus a little bit above that. So I'd say it could go as high as 49, maybe have a quick wick up there, bust out some of those people who are kind of shorting, maybe even make its way up to the low 50s. And then, I mean, nothing goes up in a straight line. You even look at the prior bull runs, okay? Not the suckers rallies, but the bull runs. You do have big pullbacks, high percent pullbacks. So it will happen. I can almost all but guarantee there will be a pullback, and it will be violent, and it will be substantial. This almost always happens. I can't think of a time when it didn't happen. So, and again, I think it might coincide with the end of Santa rally, tax loss season. You can look that up if you want to know what it is. So now, V, on the other side of things, what are you hearing about any of that? Are you hearing about tax loss season? Are you hearing about a pullback? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm not hearing anything about look, it is, I haven't heard anything about tax loss season, but that's typically what the pattern is. And then secondly is this is, if you notice what's happening right now, right? And if you look at the stock market, where's the Dow at right now?
Let's take a look. Tell you where it's going. Maybe. I mean, we don't know the future. By the way, nothing we say is investment advice.
The Dow's a 63. So we are in the Santa rally where we're 36,124. It just dropped 180, so it's going to go to 37,000. So
Yeah,
So
there you
BTC
go.
is following a Santa rally.
Oh yeah, look at that. There's
Okay.
your Dow Jones for you.
Yeah.
It's,
if you
yeah, look at.
overlay-
I mean, literally, look at. Okay, let's do an overlay. We're gonna look at Bitcoin compared to this same percent scale. So the orange line's Bitcoin. Let's undo that. I'm gonna do its own price scale. Easier to illustrate. Because this is a little atypical for Bitcoin, but it's not a complete surprise. New price scale. So people are looking at Bitcoin, and they're not necessarily paying attention to the rest of the market. But look at the rest of the market; just moving right along with it.
Yep.
Exactly. I mean, it's having a blow off here, not a blow off, but it's having a leg up here because it's Bitcoin and it's where it is. But there you go. So possible drop for Santa Rally. Now where will it drop to? That's an important question, right? We want to know what that is. So let's see if we can take a look at where it might fall to. Now 38,000, I think that just because of the liquidity, that's a decent look. Okay. Price goes to liquidity, but could it go lower than that? All right. Could price get crushed down further? Well, if we take a look at the liquidity, there's plenty of liquidity to look at in the low 30s, even into the mid 20s, but nothing is really sticking out, right? Not like it is around, say, 38.3. So how low it might go be more of that might be more of like a charting question. And I would look at that the same way I looked at how it would go up. I might look how it might go down, and I would look at it on a pretty high time frame. So let's look at the impulse up here. Your 618 is going to be at the beginning of this major rally, which is sitting at about 33,000. So price, did move up. You got a lot of I don't want to call it. Well, yeah, you got some support right here. Look at how much price action sitting around 30,000. There's a lot of structure sitting right about here. And just above that structure is going to be a gap in volume nodes. So price may want to dive down and grab that on a higher time frame. If there is an extended retracement, I'd be looking for price to at least touch the top of this, which is sitting in the low 30s. There was a time when I was looking at the low 20s, and as price continued up, that where I was looking at has continued up as well. And of course, we'll take a look at the volume nodes, see what we can pull out of what kind of data and get out of that. A lot of volume sitting at 34,000. It's gonna. I mean, there's more volume if you go back in time. If you look at this almost like, let's just say, more holistically, not worrying about impulses, ton of volume sitting in this area, like a ton. So that's to be understood. But let me actually extend this back rather than what I just did. Now, wake up, tool. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so it'll be attracted to 37,000. It'll be attracted to 34,000, and it'll be very attracted to this kind of mid 20s to 30,000 area. And Bitcoin has a history of making these big runs and then large retracements. It has a history of being like a hype cycle, and everybody gets hyped up and FOMOs, and all the while, I can almost guarantee you, if not now, then soon, a lot of very large players are starting to build their short position. Right. I mean, that's why
now would be the time.
Yeah, now would be the time, right? When everybody's starting to get very interested. From 55,000 up through 58, you're starting to see people putting on their shorts now. They're building a shorts position, right? So anyway, that's what, we need to be aware of that. But as a trader, I take things level by level. So I don't really worry so much about the macro. I use it to know which way the wind is blowing, but I take a look at the algo that I build, and that kind of tells me what to trade and how to trade it. But it's good for most people to kind of have an understanding of what can happen with Bitcoin over the next several weeks. So that's all I got for now. I think we're towards the end of the public live lab.
Yeah.
So let me see if I haven't been looking at the comments or questions or anything. Let's see if there are questions. YouTube is quiet. Everybody's quiet. Gorilla, you want to see something before we
No, let's
flip
jump
over?
into private. No, let's flip over.
All right, cool. All right, and give us that send off if you could.
Listen, guys, $1.66 a day. Learn the tools. Have the tools that'll radically make a positive impact in your bottom line. With the only place that does it, algofactory.tech. Join us, or you're leaving money on the table. Cowboy, let's go.